Welcome back to First Year in Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and today I'm bringing a very special guest that has been on our podcast before, but he is a dear friend. He is a partner with the nonprofit at Far From Over that he leads, and we are so excited to have a top performer who is still super young, under the age of 25, and just coming in and crushing the absolute world in medical device sales. We are bringing someone who was able to break in, go with the distributorship, absolutely crush it there, and then now is with a startup. And so we want to talk about those differences and just give his experience. So today we are proud to welcome back Mr. Austin Mayo to the podcast. Austin, welcome back.
Let's go. Ooh, hey, I appreciate you, Jacob. Thank you, man.
Dude, I'm so excited to have you back. You guys, if you haven't watched some of Austin's podcasts before, please go back and watch those, because he's just somebody that, you know, when you find somebody who's cut from the same cloth as you, it really makes you feel like you found your people, right? And like Austin's someone I've flown out to Florida. We've hung out, we've worked out together, and he's an absolute beast. He picked me up when I was last time in Tampa. What time did you pick me up? Like 4:45 in the morning?
We picked you up at like 4:30.
Yeah, 4:30. We went and got a workout in before the conference I had going on out there. But the reason I'm saying that to you guys is I'm very blessed to just work with so many amazing people, and Austin was one of those guys who turned into working with him, helping him break into medical device sales, to now being a great friend. And now we actually get to partner in his great nonprofit, which we will talk about here later on the podcast. But Austin, for the people who may not have heard your intro or might not have watched some of your other podcasts, can you just give like a quick summary of who you are?
So first, appreciate you again, Jacob. And to anyone listening, I'll kind of give you a brief rundown of my background, how I got into the industry, and kind of go from there. But graduated from school, always played sports, right? Football was always my thing. Got into strength and conditioning. And, you know, when I was in that role, I kind of seen, 13, 14-hour days, making the bare minimum. I was like, man, like, I can't live my life like that. I want to support a family one day. Like, I want to overcome generational curses, right? I can't do that doing this right now. Personally, that's how it was for me. So I was kind of at a pivoting moment for me, did a lot of praying and whatnot. And God led me to medical sales. I moved down with 10 cents in my name, 3 bags, and a Toyota Avalon to Florida. No plan whatsoever. Started through a course and broke my way in, and we'll kind of talk about today, my journey from, W-2, 1099 to now a startup, and I'll kind of touch on that.
I love it, man. Yeah, no, and you guys, just so you know, Austin has a great little background of like being able to see a little bit of everything already at a very young age in the industry. And so can you kind of tell us what you're currently doing and who you're with?
Yeah, so I'm currently with Raytheon Medical. It's a hemodynamic monitoring company. We service, ICUs, ORs, the monitoring systems there with any patients for arterial lines. So, I mean, it's on the capital side of things. So a little bit different from, what a few of you may be looking at. So I'm kind of really excited to kind of touch on all this because, it's a lot of different stuff to kind of talk about, from my experience, and maybe help you guys kind of lead in your way into a job. Right.
Yeah. And also like, these are also people that we love. It's so funny. I made First Year In to be for the people that are already in the industry, and let's help them be top performers. And then we have a lot of people who are brand new and never been into med device sales still watching this because they want to learn how to be in. And so we help them break in, and it's all fun. But like, real quick, because you're where you're at now, which is a startup, which is great. And most people will be like, I want to be at a startup. Well, just so everyone knows, normally, not always, right? We've gotten people hired right out of college into startups, which is great, right? Allie's one of our girls when I was at Innovis. Innovis is a startup, and now it's a ramp up. But like, the reason I say that is we got her. But a lot of times startups aren't going to take a lot of brand new people with no experience. And the reason I'm just saying that is because, for example, when I was at Innovis, I was one of 3 people when I first started in America. If I don't know what I'm doing, we're not bringing money in. And guess what's not doing well? The company. Right? Like when they hire us to be one of 3 people in America, like, we have to produce money. That's our job. It has to happen. Otherwise, the business is not going to be able to grow inside of America. Right? And so the reason I'm just saying that to you guys is when you guys are looking at a startup, a lot of times, if you guys are brand new, or you might be that associate sales rep, a lot of times a startup is a great place to get to. And why I love startups and why Austin's at a startup is a lot of times they are going to be very competitive with pay. They might even pay more money because they're ventured back, aka they just got a bunch of money from investors, right? A VC firm. And then now they can pay very competitive wages. A lot of times they'll give you stock options, aka if the company grows and they sell, you could become a millionaire or at least get a really nice payout check compared to if you're just at like one of those massive companies, right? And so there's a lot of flexibility. A lot of times what I see with a startup too is it's a smaller feel, so it's more family feel, right? So you get to know people way more compared to if you're at these big companies. If you want to talk to the vice president, you might never do that. It might be 4 people you have to go through just to even try to talk to them. And if you talk to them once, it's like they don't know you because there's 100 people compared to you might know directly in a startup the CEO, right? And so like they can talk to you. On the counter of that, we'll get into it, is it's also probably a lot more work and a lot more challenges because you're not a big company and nobody knows who the heck you are. And even if they try to pay you, you're not a vendor. And so now they can't even pay you. And now you have to do vendor registration. And that's a whole can of worms we'll open up way later. But Austin, can you tell us, like you said, you did W-2, you did 1099, and now you're at a startup. Can you kind of tell us like just how that journey looked at? Because a lot of people will be like, oh, I got a med device sales. I can't change. I have to be here for 4 years. It's like, it's what all these old reps, again, not trying to be rude, but like, for example, all these old reps go stay somewhere for 20 years. And it's why they make no money. Why? Because they got a 3% raise. But if they literally left a year later or 2 years later, they literally would make 20 to 40 grand more because the market's just paying that. Right. So can you just kind of talk about your journey, where you started and where you're going?
Yeah, for sure. And stop me at any moment and ask any questions too.
Yeah.
So, for me, like Jacob said, people are going to say all kinds of stuff. You need to stay here. You need to accept this salary. You need to do this, that, have this experience. What for me, I threw all that out because I don't put anyone's limiting beliefs on me because I believe in myself enough to go make something for myself. Right. And that's what I challenge any of you to do, right? Believe in you because you're capable of anything, right? So for me, everyone was like, oh, you can't get into this job, right? Even the person interviewing me for my first W-2, right? She was telling me I lacked the experience. I was up against 5 other candidates. Every time since, I always ask, just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you can drive, right? And I always say that. And I ended up landing that job, right? All the doubts, everything, like no experience. It's going to take you a while to get your feet wet. Right. I come in 4 months in and I'm absolutely crushing it. Were there some challenges? Of course. But at the same time, I knew I was meant for more. Right. So in W-2, I didn't really have that room for growth. I felt kind of capped. I've seen a lot of people who've been there for a long time. Right. Barely making $150,000 a year. I'm like, man, like that's not me. I want more for myself. Right. So distributor job came along for me. And I was like, man, like I can 10x my income. Like it's commission only. I believe in me. You kind of get what you put in, right? And I was like, I want that, right? But the same thing, the guy was like, man, like you lack experience. You have not, like you've only been here 8 months prior. That's all the experience I had in that device, 8 months. He was like, man, like the other guy I'm interviewing has 20 years experience, right? Why would I choose you? Same question, right? I was like, man, like I believe in me. Here's my story. Here's my background. Always sell your story, sell yourself, because you get them to believe in you. Right. They're going to pick you every time, right? Jacob knows this. Like, doesn't matter what anyone says. And coming in with the distributorship, they lost all accounts because of a split. Stryker bought half out, right? Medical sold the other half out, right? When that happened, we lost all accounts. Like there was barely any accounts, barely anything producing on my side of Florida. And I come in, man, and we really restore it. We built it up to 6 accounts and did some things happen from the reasons why I left. Yeah, that's why I left. In a sense, what I'm trying to get at is always believe in yourself, right? Number one, you got to believe in you. Whatever someone's telling you that you should do that you can't do is because they don't believe in themselves, right? So for me, I always knew I wanted more for myself. I needed to make a lot of money because money's a tool. It was going to allow me to buy my mom a house. It was going to allow me to break generational curses. It was going to allow me to help my sister, my grandma, get back to the community, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of where my mindset was at, the whole time. And coming from where I come from, man, like, to make what I did in given months, it was like, wow, like, is this real? Right? I didn't believe it at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was grateful moments because it reminded me that there's strength in our stories, and that's kind of where I tie all my branding in and stuff, because medical sales taught me a lot about myself. Sales is hard, man. Yeah. It's tough. And I know a lot of you see it. You're into this game. You see that you're getting told no all the time. You'll have a deal this close, and all of a sudden they pull the rug out, right? You think you'll have a big month. You don't hit quota. Something happens. Something goes down. Someone's getting fired. You may have been fired, right? But I just want to say, keep your head up because better's coming, right? And for me, like transition from W-2 to 1099, right? I was like, man, like I don't know if I want to do med sales anymore. But I was like, I have a gift, right? I do have a gift. I love this. It allows me to have the freedom, have the financial freedom. Why not use it to my advantage, right?
Yep.
So I took my time. I looked to transition, and I found a startup. I was like, wow, like the startup life, man, it allows you to, for number one, they will pay more competitive, 9 times out of 10 because they're venture backed, like you said. But aside from that, it's a closed net circle. I mean, everybody knows everybody. You're going to be able to talk. You're going to wear a lot of hats. And for me, I'm entrepreneurial mindset, right? Like everything I think about, man, it's always business. Like how can we scale? How can we grow? How can we lead? How can we better ourselves, our team, our personal life, whatever. And for me, the startup life, it was like, okay, like this, I think this is for me next, right? This makes sense. So coming into here, man, it's been one heck of a journey, ups, downs, you name it, you know. But man, it's not for everyone. The startup life, man, it's stressful, very, very stressful. You're gonna wear a lot of hats. And like I said, if you have any questions, like stop me and
No, man. I just loved it to hear you going.
I'm just talking, but you're gonna wear a lot of hats, right? But the compensation can be great. The commission structures can be great. Competitively, for a startup, if you're against a big company, and you're a startup coming in, it's going to be tough, right? Yeah. Because where's the trust, right? They're like, oh, you're a new company. You could be out of business in 2 years. Like, yep. How can we trust you? How can we have the support, right? So that's a big selling point. And for me, it's like, okay, do I believe in this product? Because if I didn't believe in the product, I wouldn't be here because there's a lot of hurdles in a startup to overcome.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, so, tons.
Dude, have to believe in the product because at the end of the day is the driving force to keep going, to keep knocking on the doors, to keep cold calling, to keep standing up in front of meetings of people telling you and blasting you, hey, this product sucks, right?
Yeah.
No, like I believe in this. I've seen what it can do. I've seen what, the driving force is going to have. And you just got to kind of stick to your guns and keep moving forward with it. That was kind of my journey from W-2 to 99 to startup. It wasn't a typical journey. I don't, everyone's like, don't be a job hopper. Here's what I always say to that. Do what makes sense for you. This is your life.
Come on.
You get one life. Like, why am I going to settle making X amount of money when I could go 10X that doing something else?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So come on.
Don't settle. Don't get comfortable. A lot of you are comfortable right now. And, I hate to say it, but I see it every day. A lot of people, you get comfortable making just the bare minimum, just enough to drive the car you want, to live in the house you want. Oh man. Like, what are your kids, future kids, going to say about you? What are you going to be able to do for them? Like that's how I think generation, right?
Yep.
That's just what I say, man. Like think bigger, dream bigger, right?
Yep. And that's huge, man. And then what I want to talk to you, because that's what I love about this, Austin. But like what I want everybody to hear, what you guys will see, as you can tell when Austin's talking, he's been a top performer everywhere he's gone. Everywhere I've been in the top performers, top 10, top 1. Right? Like everywhere you go. So here's the thing I need everyone to hear from me. When you are a top performer, you have options. Oh, stay here. You need to be here. You need to learn. You put it in your stripes. No, who's not telling you that? A top performer. Now, here's the thing. Can you come in and put in like a year or two and start to learn? 1,000%. Can you do all the stuff? 1,000%. Like, oh, take this. But like, for example, I just had a talk with a guy. He's at Abbott and they are paying him $90K. And they're saying, oh, the only way you can actually progress in this career is if you move or you stay here for another 4 years and make $90K, and then you can maybe make 200, 300, 400. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're in Phoenix. You could literally leave your job tomorrow and double to triple your income tomorrow. But he said, yeah, who cares what he said? Because guess what? That guy's probably making money off you. Right? So this is what you all have to understand. This is a business. So when people are telling you that, 2 things are usually happening. A, they either stink or they're not good because they're giving you really crappy advice. Oh, just stay here, put your stripes in. You should work for a company for 20 years and hopefully they never go through layoffs and fire you. And then you can come here and maybe you'll make $10,000 in the next 5 years. Or you can go to a place where there's more opportunity and literally make $10,000 on a signing bonus. Oh, that's crazy. I now make more than Jeff, and Jeff gave me that advice. Like the reason I say this, and you guys see me get all ramped up, every single person who told me I couldn't break into med device sales, my first year I made more than them. Oh, Jacob, that's offensive. Okay, sounds good. Sorry that they suck. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that people suck. That's me. Oh, sorry, we're in sales. It's competitive. Put us on the starting line. right? And the reason I'm just saying that, I need everybody to hear me right now, because if you do not have that mindset, please don't do this career. Why do you say that? Because you're going up against people like me and Austin, and we will crush your souls. Well, Jacob, that's a little full of yourself. Yes, it is. And why? Because we have the resumes to prove it. And we'll just keep on doing it. The reason I'm saying that, that's not to be full of ourselves. It's to believe in yourself. Every person who's listening on the other side of this microphone right now, believe in yourself. Stop listening. The call, I got so amped up because some sucky ASR is telling one of my students advice. This person's 22 and I make more money in a month than that person makes all year. And I said, for the love of God, please stop listening to sucky people with bad advice. Because guess what? In med device sales and every sales job, there's a lot of them. Because guess what? There's only 10 top 10 performers in an industry or in the division and in the actual company, right? On that division. So who are you going to listen to? The ASR who just started 8 months ago, who doesn't even know how to run a case by themselves, or the person who's literally taken lowest performing to top 10? Have somebody that we're listening to right now, Austin, who's literally been top performer. And then guess what happens when you're a top performer? You have options. And then what happens when you're making over $20,000 a month and you're under 25 years old? Guys, I'll tell you, options. But no, all the people that are listening, they'll be like, you can't do that. And then we sit here on camera smiling and be like, yeah, you can. Right? It's who you listen to and who you matter. And so the reason I'm just saying this is, like Austin said, a lot of times what I've seen with W2s are great. Like I like them, but W2s are going to be more for that safe route. Right? Why is W2 a really good option? Hey, you're just a number. Some people like that. Me, it wasn't my thing. Everybody's different. You can have a great benefit. You can have a great package. Yeah, you could come in, make a couple $100,000. That's awesome. You're also going to pay a lot to taxes. You're commission-based. You're W2. You're an employee. But there's a lot of people who want to play safe. That's okay. Well, go to the 1099 route. Guess what? You can make a lot more money and you run your own business, LLC. We can do write-offs and you get all the money you make. You also work with a distributor. Some distributors are great. Some aren't. Why do you say that? Because it's me running my own business. If you're with a person who doesn't keep their word and told you they'll give you a certain percentage and then now they're cutting it because you're making money and they're greedy, that makes it challenging. What happens when they tell you they're going to give you training and then they don't give you training because they lied about what they said because they're salespeople and want you to just come make money for them? That stinks. So there's gives and takes. And just so you guys know, and then I'll let Austin hop in on this conversation, is even with startups. You know what the job of a startup is? To tell you what they want to go and accomplish. The dream. You know what's really hard to make? The dream. You know how many times I was told, like, this is going to happen, and then it doesn't. Oh, this is going to happen, then it doesn't. Oh, we promise. Oh, we have to take it back. Oh, I know I said this 4 months ago, but we got to take it back. It's all different. But you guys will understand this when you run your own business. Because guess what? I'm just open with our employees and I talk to our people. I'm like, hey guys, I know I said this, but here's actually reality. This is what's going on. I need to talk to you. But it's the job of every CEO and every startup and every company to sell you the dream. But just understand, let me make this really clear. Every job, every profession, every place you go, it is never, ever, ever perfect. Because it's the exact same of watching an Instagram reel of somebody's life and you're like, oh, they're so happy. They're traveling. Oh, look how happy they are. And then you didn't see them screaming at each other in Greece right before they took the photo. I say that because my mentor literally showed me that. He's like, see that photo? We were literally screaming at each other, yelling at each other before we took that smiling photo. But you see that photo and everyone's happy. And that's what everyone's going to see. But if you knew the real story behind it, right? So I just wanted to put that out there for people. Hopefully this is providing you guys value, but I wanted to go into a little deep. But for the love of Pete, stop listening to people that are average, because I tell everyone you should interview with a new company every single year. If you're at the best paying job and they treat you really well and it's a great product, guess what you'll want to do? Stay. But you know what every loser tells me? You're just not that committed. Probably shouldn't do that. That doesn't show your commitment to the company. And guess what? That same company, when they lose sales a little bit, they're firing you without a doubt. And they don't feel bad because it's business. But all you will do it. So Austin, speak to that, buddy.
3 months later, he left that same job and went to another job, right? So I just thought it was hilarious, man. It's like,
man, I see this all the time too, right? Because they all will tell you what you should do. This is why I tell you, everyone's an expert on your own life, but they're not even an expert on your life. Because those same hiring managers will jump a job if they make another $20,000.
Yep. Man, and to a lot of people, you're probably wondering, like, how can I become a high performer, right? It's super, super simple.
Yeah. How do you make 15 grand, $20,000, $30,000 in med device sales a month? Yeah. How do you do that?
Yeah. So the answer is simple, right? Have higher expectations of yourself than anyone else has of you, right?
Come on.
I don't care what a job has of you, the description, what anyone's saying you should do, what you should. do this, do that. Make as many calls. How bad do you want it? That's the question, man. And what I see people quit. Like my competitors now with what I'm in, man. Like I'm against one of the largest competitors in the world with what I do, and their biggest market is Florida, right? And I'm making huge headway. Why? Because I'm willing to keep knocking, man, to keep going. And the other reps, man, they're getting their commissions. They have it set. They have some contracts. But guess who's going to keep knocking, man? Me, because I'm an underdog, right? I love it.
Let's just say this real quick, because I need someone to hear this, because you and I were just talking off air. Tell us about your day yesterday. Just real quick, just so everybody can hear this.
Yeah, so yesterday started at 5 a.m., right? I was on the east coast of Florida. I had a 7 a.m. meeting there. That lasted for about 3 or 4 hours, all demos, right? Demoing on patients, the doctors, presentations, ICU Florida, OR, right? Knock it all out. There, have another meeting at 12:30, same thing there. And keep in mind, this is all the ICU floors, your directors, your cardiologists. Your
and how far away was it?
4-hour drive for me.
That's what I want everyone to hear. Woke up at 5, drove 4 hours, then please go on.
Yeah, so, and then knocked that meeting out at 12:30, and then I got to drive back home. I stayed the night before in Fort Lauderdale, where I was before, so I was like right there, luckily. But I finished my other meeting out, got to drive back for a 7 p.m. meeting over above Tampa, right? 7 p.m., right? That's a long day. A lot of people are like, man, like, but it goes back, how bad do you want it, right? Like, I want it bad. Like, I'm doing this for my future family, for my mom, for my sister, for my grandma. Like, you got to have a why, a reasoning for why you do what you do and why you get out of bed. Because if you don't, man, you're going to fall. And I hate to see it, man, but I see it every single day. Like, people get comfortable. They make 10 calls. They're like, oh, I did enough today. And they close their laptop. Like, how bad do you want it? And like, I get amped up, like saying it, but man, it's why there's losers and why there's winners, right? I see it every day. So to be that exception, to be at the top, you have to have higher expectations of yourself than anyone else has of you. And that's what I would say. Simple.
Dude, you're 100% on. What I wanted you guys to hear that is like, do you know how many 14-hour days we've worked in med device sales, waking up at 5, working till 10 o'clock at night, doing emails, doing the stuff. But the same people who tell us that we're lucky or that we can't make the money are the same people who don't clock in till 6 or 7 o'clock. And then they do their 4 hours of cases and then they go home at 2 o'clock and call it a day, right? Like this is what I just need you all to hear. What's the high performers? What do? They just do it. They just do the work. And that's what most people will never understand. They just have grit. They're able to read people, but they'll put in the work and they do what they say they're going to do. And here's the big one. I just talked with another high performer. You know what happens if they don't do what they say they're going to do? They actually apologize, acknowledge it, and let them know. Because you want to know what a lot of reps and a lot of people in this life do, just in life? They will tell you they're going to do something, they don't do it, and then they don't bring it up because they hope you just forgot. But guess what? We never forget. You all have had that happen to you. And you remember when someone lied to you. It's about building trust in this industry. It's about building trust in this relationships. And so what I wanted you guys to hear from there is that's a top performer, right? He's already the top there. But what's he doing? Still doing the work, because I tell people all the time, rent is due every day. I always think about this, Kobe. I listen to it when I go for my run. They're like, Kobe, you're up 2-0. Why aren't you smiling? He's like, job's not finished. Is it finished? They're like, no. Then he's like, what's there to be happy about? Right? And that's what I think people miss is like, you're due every single day and you got to go put in the work. But like everybody else will say, oh, you need to do this. Now, here's the big thing. I'm learning, like, and you and I talk about this. It's about balance. You're not going to work a 14-hour day every day, guys. Some days you'll do a 14-hour day and then like it's Friday and you're like, man, maybe I'm doing a 6-hour day-to-day, calling it by 12 and going and enjoying the weekend. Like, it is balance. You have to have life. But like, too many people, know what everyone tells me? You want to know what every broke human being tells me? Work-life balance. Name one person that you know who's amazing at what they do that talked about work-life balance. I'll tell you, nobody. You think Kobe Bryant had work-life balance? Go listen to his stuff. He did 3 workouts a day starting at 4 a.m. Right? Like that's what people don't. The difference between the top performers and the average people are the top performers obsess of it. They know their craft and they go work on the craft and they continue to get better and they just see how it is. Compared to the average people who are just like, I hope it works out. And then losers blame everybody else. Winners blame themselves and see what could I have done but different. I just want people to hear that real quick because that was my talk with our course and I almost went through my laptop yesterday because I had a little too much coffee. But for the fact of, you guys, you know how jacked you should be? Everyone talks to me and like that girl said, I talked to this associate sales rep. They suck. They couldn't hold a conversation. I said, and then they're all like depressed. And I was like, depressed? You should be jacked. Why do you think I tell you guys to go network? Because you learn how many sucky people are in the industry, how average people are, and that's going to be your competition. You know how many times I got on a call? Hey, go get sales experience. Hey, thank you so much. Who the heck are you to tell me go get sales experience? Get on the next call. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you should go do some sales experience and maybe do this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Hang up. Who the hell? What, like, right? And then guess what? Came in above all those people and then accomplished more in 3.5 years than those people who were giving me that advice. Why? Going back to what Austin said, believe in yourself. Go find people who believe in you. Go find people that are going to lift you up. And guess what? You know what's crazy to say? Hey, yeah, you can make 20 grand a month in medical device sales. I hope this video goes viral because guess what? You will see every rep that will be like, that's impossible. No, you can't do it. And they all suck. Oh, Jacob, that's rude. Yeah. And they're the same people who comment on my stuff that have been in for 4 years. The man, I just talked to a kid. He's been in for 6 years, doesn't make 150. I did 200 my first year. It's not the industry, you guys. Losers blame the industry. I hear it all the time. The industry's not what it was. Screw you, man. Holy crap. That's like the same people telling me what I did in 2015 doesn't work in 2024. Yeah, no kidding, because it's 2024.
To add to that, man, I add like an interesting perspective that I bring to the job, right? I'll do that after this, but just to add to that, man, like what you said, man, like you gotta think bigger. You gotta believe in yourself, right? But here's a perspective I just challenge all of you to kind of look at, right? A lot of you are in a job, right? You may have been making the same amount of money you have for the past few years, for the past year, whatever it is. But view your job, obviously love the product, love what you sell. That's most important, right? Know the impact you're going to have. But number one, and view the job as your capital investor. That's something that I look at. The harder I work, the more I do, the more money I work for my capital investor, the more I'm going to be able to do and pour into other things in life, right? Whatever it is, real estate, other business, whatever it is you want to do, I just challenge you to view your job as your capital investor, right? Because the more you do, the harder you work, the more money you make, the more commissions you make. What can you do with that? Now you can dump it into other things, right? So that's just always been like my perspective of how I look at it, man. Because like a lot of people just look at a job as a job. No, man. Like, and a lot of the people who settle, man, those are the people that are working harder on their job than do themselves. That's why I'm so strong in personal development, man. Like work harder on yourself than you do your job. And always like to ask someone that in like an interview, if I'm interviewing someone, whatever it is, I'm like, would you rather work harder on your job than you do yourself or work harder on yourself than you do your job? And you'd be surprised how many people say they would rather work harder on the job than do themselves.
Dude, and it shows every single time. The belly comes over the belt a little too much.
Yeah.
They're not fit. Then they're complaining about their marriages. Then they're dude, I see it all the time and you see it all the time. That's why you say that. Compared to how about you focus on you? And then if you're happy with you,
everything's awesome.
Dude, that's what it is. And I'm so glad you said that because that's what we talk about inside our program and our course. Like, dude, was able to do this and build multiple businesses on the side while doing it. But most people can't be a top performer in one. How? Because they're not doing it. They're not doing the research. They're not getting around people to think bigger. Exactly what you said. That's the guys, just so you know, half the conversations me and Austin have is how do you be in med device sales? Do really well in med device sales, make good money, and then go take that money to go make more money. Right? Because we all said this and I make this and I put this out there. Guys, this industry is amazing. You get to help people, you get to do stuff all the time. Like it is the best. But you know what everyone said? Like I said this, and I know Austin said this. We never got into med device sales to be like, hey, I'm going to be here for 40 years. Because, like, and let me just say this, because the people will hear that and they'll be like, well, you're not committed. You're not all this. Let me just make this really clear. If you could come in 5 years, make really good money, like way above the average, which the average is 177,000. If you can make way above the average and then take that money and go make more money, and then now you make more money in a month from the other things you invested in than you can in med device sales, you wouldn't want to do that? I would just sit here and tell you, anybody who says no, I would really question if they're being truthful. Because you're saying you wouldn't want to travel, you wouldn't want to go do the stuff you actually enjoy. We all love sales, but nobody likes getting screamed at by a nurse. Nobody loves dealing with people who don't do their job, and that's the challenge of this, right? But like I just say that because you're so dead on, Austin, is like look at this as a we talk about it in the course all the time. Is like this is just a pathway. It's a pathway for us to help people, bless people, make a difference in them, and then also take the money, make the money. Bless your family, bless yourself, and then go bless other people. Why we do nonprofits, right? It's this whole channel. But what so many people do is they're like, no, this is it. Now, the last thing I just want to say on that is if you got a family and you're like, dude, I just want to make, I deal with a lot of these people and it's awesome. You want to make $150K a year, but you want to work under 30 hours a week so you can go be with your family and watch your little one grow up. That's the dream. Go do that. It doesn't have to be making 20, 30, 40 grand a month. It doesn't have to be. Now, I'm probably sure you probably want to be pissed if that happened, but like just saying, like a lot of people are like, hey, I want to have my family too. Everyone's got different goals and lines, right? So what I'm just saying is what you got to do is figure it out for you. Stop having other people tell you what you should do with your life. Stop having Rick, the sales rep, tell you how to do it because they did it that way. Question everything. I literally just saw a thing and it's like, I told Austin, like, I love Mike. If you guys don't know who that is, Mike Stud, like, go listen to him. He's just a great guy, really chill vibes. But the reason, like, he just posted yesterday, the whole goal of life, like when we're going into this progression, basically what self-development is literally unlearning everything you've learned up to this point. Because we have all these self-limiting beliefs. We have all this stuff because I came from the poorest county in Iowa. I have family members who live off welfare. You know what? All the poor people say, money's bad. Oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Money can't do the things it is. Oh, people who make money are bad people. I know a lot of great freaking people who make a lot of money, but that's a fake belief that a lot of poor communities, I come from the poorest county in Iowa, believe. But like you said, and what we talk about, money's fake, first off, and money's just a tool. You just understand that. Holy camole, it can change your life. And then if you just guys learn that money is just a transfer of value, why do people in med device sales make a lot of money? Because the value that the product that they're selling is saving someone's life, which is pretty valuable, or it's making their life better. So AKA, you do that really well, you get more money. Oh, that's a crazy thought to think about. And then what happens when you, like, one of my songs that I love is called Malibu Breeze. First line is solid in my head. Now it's what I see. Just told Austin 5 years ago, I had to put groceries back and woke up on an air mattress to like where we're at today. Why? Because just kept believing, kept getting around people who believed in me. And they don't always have to believe in you, but they can at least encourage you. Get away from all the toxic people who tell you you can't. And let me just say this. A lot of times it's your parents. A lot of times it's your family. Like, how am I supposed to tell my family what I do when I make more money in a month than they make all year? They'll never understand it. Must be nice. Yeah, must be nice to work 14-hour days, take risk on myself, have things that go horribly wrong, but you just decide to keep figuring it out. I just want somebody to hear this because it's all about med device sales, guys. We're here to help you, but I just want to help you in life. Because the hardest part of this is what you guys don't understand, especially in our course and our program and what we do, is the maturing process. Because if you've never made 200 grand, if you've never seen a $50,000 paycheck in a month, how are you supposed to believe you can do it? Because most of you, if I say that, you can't even fathom 20 grand in a month, let alone 50 to 100 grand in a month. But you got to start thinking different. You got to get around people who think different. Because I was driving, I'm seeing the construction. Dude, there's money everywhere. You just got to change your mindset. It's easy to be a top performer. Austin already said it. I just wanted to put that out there because I need somebody to hear that. Because my whole goal in life is just to help people change their own freaking life. Because you're talking to two guys right here, literally came from nothing, had to put groceries back, broke as heck, and both under the age of 30, doing a lot better than people that have been in this industry for 15, 20 plus years. Why? Oh, because we're full of crap, or oh, we do what. You just believe what you want to believe. And literally Mike talks about it in most of his songs. Just focus on what you want to focus on. If you just focus about abundance, focus about success, focus about where you can be, guess what's probably going to happen? That, instead of focusing on the negative people, what other people say about you, all the bull crap that doesn't even matter.
Tune out the noise, baby.
Come on, man. Yeah, dude, I get all jacked up about this because I just love it. But like the one thing I wanted to just talk about, because I want people to do this. You talked about being a high performer. I want to add a lot of value to this right now. Okay, let's give the people literally the guide right now. Hey, you want to be a top performer in med device sales? Because Austin's been able to do it in every single spot. I've been able to do it in every single spot. Austin, I want you to give some tips. Hey, you want to be a top performer? Give some tips that you've done in med device sales to make you a top performer, to have the $20,000+ paychecks in a month.
Yeah.
And so people on this can hear it.
There's a few things I'll leave you with how to be a top performer. Number one, have higher expectations of yourself than anyone has of you, right? Number two, there's a 5-step process that I use in everything I do. Learned it from Grant Cardone. Number one, decide, commit, act, succeed, repeat. Repeat that process, man, with everything you do, with good intentions, with good authenticity, being you, believing in yourself. Bro, you'll win. You'll win in anything you touch. Guarantee it. I've seen it in my life. Listen, I come from nothing, man. And to use this formula with everything that I do, it's a repeating process of success from what I've seen. So number three, you have to work on yourself. You have to work out spiritually, physically, whatever you believe in, right? Work on yourself every single day. First thing every day I wake up, first thing I do is focus on me and prayer, right? Because for me, that's what I believe in. I believe in God, and prayer comes first and starts my day. And the rest, man, is easy, right? You focus on you. So those 3 steps, I'll repeat it one more time. Number 1, have higher expectations of yourself than anyone has of you. 5-step process: decide, commit, act, succeed, repeat. You'll win in everything you do. And number 3, work on yourself.
Come on, dude. That is such great tips. And I just want everybody to hear that because it's the truth. Like I'll sit here and tell you guys my tips is number 1, it goes number 1, what he says, right? Like your business is you. It's you. Focus on you, right? Because the whole thing is nobody would ever say, hey, Jacob sucked or Jacob didn't do this, because I know I did and I documented it and I always did it. Take more ownership in what you're doing than what other people say. Because so many people look at like, oh, I work at Medtronic or I look at J&J as a job. No, it's you. You're the rep. This is your territory. This is your company inside a company. You're responsible for everything. So take pride in that. Continue to get better in that. That's like the biggest thing I always tell people is it's all you. It's all you. If stuff goes bad, that's your business. It's your fault. Figure it out. Oh, but it's the reps, no, or it's the nurses. Nope. Do an in-service then, right? It's all on us. So like
can I do that too? Just what you just said. Your name is attached to it. That's your legacy, right? That's your brand. Your name is your brand. Everything you touch, anything your name's attached to, how do you want to be remembered for it? How I talk to my customers, whether it be good, bad, ugly, whatever's happening, I'll put it in perspective. Okay, look, my name's attached to this. They'll remember it forever. And, this could burn me in the end if I do something wrong, right? So you have to have good intentions, pure intentions, and just remember, like, your name is your brand. It's part of everything you do, right?
Preach it, man. That is so true. And then number 2, this is my big one for you all. Invest in yourself. Well, what do you mean by that, Jacob? Invest in yourself. Actually go work out. Invest in your health. Go and invest in your spirituality and what you believe in. Like, just like Austin, like, again, we're very vocal about believing in God. Now, I'll sit here and tell you, maybe sometimes I drop a little too many curse words and me and God have to talk about that. Still working on it. I'm not perfect. But the reason I'm just saying that is every single morning, I pray to God, say, thank you so much for the blessings you give me. Thank you for making me alive. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Starting my day with gratitude, and then it goes straight into journaling and devotions. I know just waking up after losing my best friend, which we're going to fly out and give a scholarship for, like losing him, like I know it can be gone tomorrow. So thank you that I'm here alive right now, because so many people take it for granted. People take it for granted that they're, oh, I have to work this job. You got a job. Holy crap, you're in med device house. Congratulations. That's amazing. It's all about mindset. So it's work on yourself, work on your health, right? Like go into that, but also invest in yourself. You want to know the only reason we've gone from being broke, putting groceries back, to being in the top 1%? Because we kept investing in ourselves. Like you guys all think like, oh, we have a program. Oh, what is it going to be? I just spent over $15,000 on a program last month. Oh, you're just saying it doesn't matter the money. Take the money out of it. It's continuing to invest, because I'll sit here and tell you, want to know why most people lose? Let me just do this because hopefully it helps you. Poor people, rich people. Poor people ask how much. Rich people ask what's my return. Poor people, if it's $1,000, don't care. It's too much. Rich people will pay $10,000 if they can return 10 grand. Happy to. Right? And then this is where a lot of people lose. Oh, it's $10,000. I don't know. Here's my whole thing. Do you think if you invested $10,000, that investment will make you $10,000 over the rest of your life? You're out of your dang mind. If you go and learn one freaking thing from it, you can probably go use that and make over 10 grand in the first year, let alone your lifetime, right? But that's why people, they play small, and that's why they lose. Right? Why we keep winning, we keep investing. And like that's why I tell people our program, yeah, it's investment, but we know our average person in 2 months is getting a 14x return. You guys go put in the stock market and try to get a 10% return in the first year. We do it in 2 months, and then that's the least amount of money. And guess what? We get 22-year-olds hired at over $148,000. People are like, I want that. Oh, yeah, but you don't invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, because again, now I'm in rooms with people making millions of dollars a month. Why? Because I invested to be in those rooms. And then if I go tell everybody else, they'll be like, that's fake. No, that has to be a scam, or that doesn't work. Until you just talk to the guy who I just talked to, and he's like, oh, I made $3 million last month. Oh, what? No, that's not possible. You got to keep investing in yourself. So whether you guys are doing it, it's why you're listening to this podcast. And I love that you listen to this podcast. It's about getting better. Always invest in you, because the top performers, they do that. Because I sit here and tell you, there's the speech, but it's like losers do barely enough and think they did enough. Winners go way above and beyond, and they still don't think they did enough. Every time top performers get a sale, I wonder how they can make the sale better, how they could do it faster, how they could do it next time. Compared to the losers, we'll be like, got the sale, I'm going to go party, right? So invest in yourself. And then lastly, because I put this out there and I'm actually making the post right after this podcast, is your only competition is you. Because going back to extreme ownership, what Austin said, you know what everyone does is they blame the competitor, the better product, the better one. I've watched so many better products lose. Why? Because the rep doesn't show up. The rep doesn't do what they say. The rep doesn't. But this is what I'll sit here and tell you, self-reflection, self-ownership. You want to know why I took the lowest performing territory to top 10? You want to know how I took a territory from 0 to 750 grand in 18 months and closed one of the largest deals in company's histories where I was? Jacob, how'd you do that? Because it was me always getting better on me. It wasn't the competition. How do I continue to get better every day? Because am I showing up? Am I doing the work? Am I self-reflecting? Did I do a meeting wrong that I need to get better at? Did I do the stuff that I need to do? Did I turn over every stone to know that I did the work? And I can sit here and tell you, most of you haven't. Because I say this to all the candidates that I talk to. I'm trying to get a job. What are you doing to prepare for it? Well, I've done this. If this job was worth $400,000, would you prepare way different? Every single person. Yeah, I would turn it up. That's why you lose. Holy cramoly. That's how you lose. If every single day you come in, the thing that you're doing is the most important and you're getting better and trying to be better every single day because it's the biggest thing of your life, you guys want to know what you'll start doing? Winning. Because you're actually putting the work. Most of you guys, love you to death, lazy. Most of you, entitled. I reached out to a person. They didn't get back to me. That's why you lose. My reps out there. Well, I did a lunch. Your lunch sucked. You showed up late. You didn't ask direct questions. And guess what? You just went straight in and you started selling. And you didn't even ask the doctor what they've been using, how long they've been using it, what their needs are, any problems that they're facing. Then to that, you can go fit the need. Because all sales is, my friends, is finding what their problem is and filling the problem. Oh, but the better product. Lies that you're telling yourself. Limiting beliefs, because you think that and you go talk to the doctor and they didn't even know about that benefit. It's you versus you. But you want to know why 99% of people will never be top performers and never make more than $100,000 a year and never be successful? Because they don't want to have to reflect on themselves and actually see that they're not doing everything right. And maybe sit in that. Maybe feel that they're not as good as where they could be. Because it's way easier to point fingers. It's way easier to try to take pills to be skinny than work out. It's way easier to blame that your boss sucks or the company does whatever. Let me just make this really clear. Top 10 performer when our company was during COVID still had a bunch of back orders. Somehow still won, right? Like there's always a million excuses, my friends. The difference between the winners and the losers, they're going to just focus on what they can get done, not what they can control, and knowing it's you versus you. Because the moment you start comparing yourself to all the competitors, you already lost.
Pin drop. That's good stuff right there.
Thank you, man. Hey, I get all jacked up about it. But before we hop off, man, because I just love talking to you. We could do 3 hours a day and it would still be, we could chop it up. But the one thing I want to touch base is like, guys, this is a top performer at a young age who also now has a nonprofit. And so, Austin, I would love just for you to share about your nonprofit real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So we were fortunate enough to partner with Jacob. You know, I'm always looking for like-minded partners to partner with that want to live on a bigger scale, think bigger, right, to change the world. But kind of what it means before I dive into what it is, what it represents. So, you know, far from over, a lot of people just see the 3 words, right? And they don't really know the significance behind what it means, what it stands for. But to me, at 13 years old, man, and having to protect my mom and sister one night, you know, a big thing came to me, and it was, you know, my story's not over, man. Like I'm still writing, right? So for me, far from over, I want you to know the meaning to anyone out there listening. So far from over, first and foremost, signifies strength, courage, and perseverance, right? So it's you by knowing whatever you're up against right now, you're bigger than that thing, right? A lot of you may be fighting something mentally, physically, whatever it is, but know you're bigger than that thing, right? And your story is not over, right? And so the mission of Far From Over, obviously, I want to create a community of leaders, right? Where we can bring light to dark places, right? And I think on a large scale of impact in the world, obviously, it's a seed, right now, but it starts with a belief. It goes back to what we just said. You got to believe in yourself, the mission, your heart, whatever it is, and you got to go get it. So I'm always looking for people to partner with. And if you're someone that wants to be involved in something like this with an event where we have community outreach through personal development events, right? Surrounded by kids, impacting the youth of all ages, right? Reach out to me at farfromover.net. Go on the website. You'll find my email. Email me, and I'd love to connect with you. But, you know, it's going to be big. Far From Over is going to be something very big. And I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the YMCAs, the Boys and Girls Clubs, right? So always thinking large scale. So know what's coming, but that's kind of a little background of what we do, what we stand for. And obviously it's all centered around love, right? Yep. I want to help people dream again, believe again. There's a lot of people who lose hope. There's a lot of people where life, man, it smacks you and they stop believing in themselves. So for those people, man, this is where we come into play. And I want to help develop the leaders of tomorrow. I want to help develop people who may have lost hope, who've lost strength, who need that kind of that spark again, right? So that's kind of where we come into play. And yeah, if you want to be involved, just shoot me an email and love to connect with you.
Man, it's just so awesome to watch because guys, like this is the thing I just want you just to hear is like it's why I'm so proud to partner with Far From Over because we'll be going back next week to do our Think Bigger scholarship in memory of my buddy who passed away of brain cancer. Because again, we come from the poorest county in Iowa, and like we talk to people where the annual income is under $40,000 a year for the household, and it's just like for me, I want these kids to think bigger, and Brandon was somebody who did right, and like unfortunately we lost him, but why I get so jacked when I think about this kind of stuff is like, man, you came from nothing, man. I came from nothing. Like, it's all about going back to my mission of helping people positively impact others, right? Help driven and motivated individuals break into medical device sales while positively impacting others. And this is what most people miss. Top performers top perform in a lot of different things at once. You're talking to a guy who's a top performer and he's also doing a nonprofit, right? Like most people can't even do one. Most people have never donated to a nonprofit, right? And so that I just want to say that's why I'm so proud to partner with Austin because he's out there doing community outreach, handing out stuff to homeless people, like going and doing things to make the community better. Because it's about what we're here on life to or on earth to do, is improve others' lives and just show love and show caring. And so I just want to keep encouraging you people because like again, guys, like there's so much opportunity in this world. But why I'm so proud to partner with not the nonprofit Far From Over is knowing that they're a true mission of the guy you see on the screen right now who is a high performer, but somebody who actually just wants to give back, comes from nothing to where he's at today, just to give love to others, encourage others. We live in a place where it's super dark and people get ripped out. And like I'm so proud to have so many people in our program. They're betting on themselves while their parents are tearing them down. And then we get them broke in at twice the amount of money their parents get. The parents don't do it because they're mean. They just care about them, but they don't know anything different. And our whole thing is let's love on them. Let's show them that there's something bigger. Let's go show that you can live the life you can want. And that's what Far From Over does. And so that's why I just wanted to just take a moment and just say thank you for what you're doing, man. So proud to be a partner with you. And again, thank you for being partners with us for the Think Bigger Scholarship. Because now you're going to go change some kids' lives back in small town Iowa to think a little bit bigger and to go after their goals.
Oh man, I always appreciate you. I appreciate all you listening. And I want to say one more thing to end it. Like I said, we always look for like-minded people. And Jacob, man, you're exactly what I look for, man. Because I believe, right, no matter the money, no matter the infrastructure of whatever it is, right, if you don't have people that oversee that, right, that think on a larger scale, that can be like, okay, how can I help? How can I serve? Right? I don't care if you're making $30 million a year. If you're not serving and impacting your community, what are we doing?
Yep.
Right? We get one life, man.
Come on, man.
So like you're what we signify, man. And that's why I love you to death, man. I call you a dear friend. And hey, we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep doing this thing. But I thank you, man. Seriously.
Right back at you, man. I'm so proud to call you a brother. Again, guys, like this is what I truly love about what we've created is like from posting a first video to now having best friends and being able to make impact and help you guys. Hopefully it's just continue to find other people that are going to build you up, that love on you, that are going to push you to be your best version because they're out there. It just can be sometimes hard to find, but that's hopefully what this community is. But Austin, I just want to say thank you for taking time. I know you're extremely busy, man. So thank you for taking time out of your week to meet with us. And if they want to find you anywhere else, where can they follow you at?
Yeah. So all my social media handles are Austin Mayo 21. Feel free to message me, reach out, ask questions, find me on LinkedIn, just type in Austin Mayo or Rethea Medical. I'm sure I'll pop up. But yeah, any questions you guys have, always reach out. I try my best to respond to everyone. Inbox can get flooded on LinkedIn a little bit. But yeah, please reach out. I'll try to help how I can.
Appreciate it, man. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, we all just want to just put out there just for you guys to go win. Love you all to death. I hope this was extremely helpful. And if you can, press that like and subscribe button. If you can share this with somebody that you feel like it can be helpful for them, whether they're meant to buy sales or they're not, I would really appreciate that. That means the world. And I just want you guys to know my whole goal is just to help you guys all win. It's not about just breaking you in. It's not about just having you be successful in med device sales. I want you guys to come in, change your life, change your family's life, change other people's lives, because we know if you come in, you do a great job, you're going to go and make a lot of different, change a lot of patients' lives by doing best patient care. And if you do that, guess what's probably going to happen? You're probably going to hit quota. And if you hit quota, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make some money. And you're going to make some money. Guess what? You get to bless your family and your other and family members. But guess what? If you make enough money, you get to go do that and bless other people and work with like great nonprofits like Far From Over. And so the reason I'm just saying that, that's my mission. It's just always giving back and just making sure that we're doing the right thing. Because I'll say this one last time, it's never been about the money. It never is about the money, never was, never will be. It's all about how can we continue to impact others. And so I just want to tell you guys, like, it's been really cool to see. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are listening to this that are trying to break into medical device sales. But there's also, we just actually, shout out to Max, had him join. He was an associate sales rep, and we just got him hired at way north of 150 in medical device sales as a full line sales rep. And so we've been able to not only help associates break in, or people not in the industry from us to associates to, but also helping associates to come in at jobs over 150K in the industry, because we want the best for you guys, and stop listening to everyone to go tell you to go take a rep roll for 100K or 110K, because again, it's knowing your value, knowing you're worth more. And then once you guys come in the industry and you're doing your own thing, how do you go and top perform? How do you go and do what we just said? Right? And that's what we're here to help. And that's what I just tell you. All we do is save you guys a lot of time and a lot of money, because we're just here to help mentor you. We go through that course, but it's more of a mentorship. So if you guys are interested in breaking into medical device sales, or you guys are interested in going from the associate to a full line rep and actually having success and doing it the right way, helping with negotiations and all that, please feel free to reach out to me at New to Medical Device Sales or Jacob McLaughlin on LinkedIn, or you guys can find us on every other social. If you guys are really interested, we also will put the link down below for our course, where it's our average person is breaking in 8.2 weeks at $94,478 as of right now. But I will sit here and tell you, we've just gotten people hired in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and they're all coming in above that average. And so I'm really excited to redo those numbers to be hopefully less time and more money here in the future. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys keep going it, go crush quota, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.